If you've been seriously injured, your case could be worth millions, and it's important you know exactly what your rights are. And that's why I want to tell you about Morgan & Morgan. They're America's largest injury law firm, with over 1,000 attorneys working in all 50 states. And unlike a lot of firms that settle quickly, Morgan & Morgan doesn't take lowball offers from insurance companies. Just in the past few months, they won $12 million in Florida when the insurance company offered only $350,000. And in New York, they scored $6.8 million on a case that only offered them $275,000. And the best part, it's absolutely free unless you win. Insurance companies try to pay out as little as possible. Morgan & Morgan fights to get you more if you become their client. It only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. And you can do it right from your phone. It's that easy. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Timcast or click the link in the description below. From Axios.com, exclusive. DOJ, FBI conclude Epstein had no client list and died by suicide. As we all suspected the DOJ would claim later on. Anyway, they say President Trump's Justice Department and FBI have concluded they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered, according to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. The administration is releasing a video in both raw and enhanced versions that it says indicates no one entered the area of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held the night he died in 2019. The video supports a medical examiner's finding that Epstein died by suicide, the two-page memo claims. Okay, let's stop right there. So this memo comes out, and we end up with all these crazy tweets. Everybody's pissed off. And one of the arguments that people were making is that the memo is fake. Indeed, it is not real. It was signed by nobody. Okay, well, I have the memo for you right here, justice.gov. You can plainly see it. I'm gonna highlight this right now. See me? There we go. I'm gonna press enter. There it is. I pressed enter. There's the memo. The memo reads, as part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of investigative holdings relating to Jeffrey Epstein. To ensure that the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of its databases, hard drives, and network drives, as well as physical searches of squad areas, locked cabinets, desk closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. The files relating to Epstein include a large volume of images of Epstein and images and video of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal child sex abuse material and other pornography. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts combed through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial, as the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of child pornography. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So the issue is, the videos they claim to have, they can't show because of the victims. And there are over 10,000 videos? No third parties that could in any way have criminal charges laid against them. That, I believe, is what most people find hard to believe. Now, there is a bit of there are many misconceptions going around. One, that people think it's fake, and also that it claims Epstein and Maxwell did nothing wrong. It quite literally says in the second paragraph, it's pretty bad. But the idea that there's no client list is an absurdity. We are not claiming that Epstein created a client list. The argument, at least as far as I can tell, is there is a list of clients, meaning there are names of individuals who flew to his island and engaged in these things with him. Those names would be written down and called a list of clients. Now, here's what I want to do, because we could certainly read more, but they say that they have footage. They say the conclusion of that Epstein died by suicide is further supported by video footage from the common area of the special housing unit where Epstein was housed at the time of his death. As DOJ Inspector General explained in 2023, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by the footage. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9, 2019, until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning, Nobody entered any of the tiers of the SHU. During this review, the FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing its contrast, balancing color, and improving its sharpness for greater clarity, viewability. The full, raw, and enhanced videos are available at the following link. I'm going to click that link. And, okay, so here's the video. And as you can see, all right, I have no idea what these doors are. I have no idea what I'm looking at. But, hey, other people noticed this very interesting little tidbit. Let's jump to 11:58:45. Take a look at the bottom left and the timestamp. In 10 seconds, what we're going to see is the footage will jump and skip over one whole minute. 3, 2, 1, not even 1. Jeez. So then you can see it changes, and now it's jumped forward, the frame has changed, and there is a minute of footage missing. If we jump forward, hey, look at that. Hey, did the garbage can just move? Oh, that's right. Here comes some guy. Some guy actually, how did that move? Did he move it?
It's clearly not as unedited as they would.
It's not only is it actually edited, but it shows a guy walking in one of the rooms. I don't know what that room is. So what is the purpose of this video? Honestly. And there we go. Hey, look, here's somebody entering the tier. Okay, but he leaves. Where does that door go? Is that door leaving? So here's a video of a guy walking in.
Throwing stuff into what I imagine is I'm guessing.
Hallway?
Totally. Maybe it's a cell?
I don't think you walk into and out of cells like that. But here he is. He's entered. Where's he going? Okay, so here's a guy who just entered the tier or the room or whatever that was. And then I think if we jump back a little bit, actually, isn't there somewhere just past? Here you go. Here's a guy going in. So let me just say, they're not claiming Epstein did nothing wrong. They actually say that he did. But they're claiming he had no clients, no evidence of third-party wrongdoing. And everyone's basically saying, yo, that's ridiculous, highly unlikely. And the video footage they put out makes no sense. It's edited. There's people coming and going. I don't understand what they were trying to claim. There's another video, file 2, which I guess shows the same thing. Does this also have a minute missing from it? Because there's 2 files.
None of the
it does. It's the same thing.
Released.
Yo, check it out.
None of it does anything to satisfy people that are curious about what had happened, regardless of what your opinion is, whether you think that Epstein killed himself or he was murdered or whatever. The information that's been released does nothing but muddy the waters more and make people doubt the reliability of an organization that already has serious problems with credibility. So I feel like this was pointless and all it did was make things worse.
Also, how many movies have we seen where you've got 60 seconds of camera blackout to get in and get out?
Yeah, right? Yeah,
right?
Am I the only one?
It's the whole plot of Gone in 60 seconds.
It's literally an eternity.
I'm kidding. I don't know what the plot is.
At least in movies, you know?
Yeah, they'll say like you have 1 minute and then like 12 minutes later in the movie.
60 seconds starts now.
And it takes 10 seconds for them to do whatever they have to do.
And we see 2 people, one coming and one going. So I got to say, this is weird. The memo is not signed by anybody. So here's the memo. Again, it's at justice.gov. It is on their website. No one signed this. No one put their name on it. Who wrote this? Why is it on their website? This is very, very weird. I'm trying to come up with predictions and probabilities in my mind of what the play was here. First is Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence.
Yep.
Perhaps the DOJ was just like, how do we make people drop this without actually exposing powerful billionaires and princes and kings and politicians? Let's just claim it never happened. Here's my favorite thing about this. Remember phase 1 of the Epstein release?
Yeah.
Phase 2. Apparently is there's nothing, thank you and have a nice day.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing, like the first thing was like everybody got egg on their face, and now they're like the phase 2, they're just like, we're gonna take some more eggs and just smash them in our faces. Here
you go. This is from justice.gov as well. Attorney General Pamela Bondi releases first phase of declassified Epstein files. The first phase of declassified files, there's no second phase. Why did they call it that? Why didn't they call it the only phase?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
So anyway, here's the point. Nobody signed this memo. So Hanlon's razor. They're just like, we don't know how to get past this story. So let's just claim it never happened. And we won't really release it. We'll give it to the press, put it on the website, and then no one will say anything about it. I mean, that seems to be the highest probability. But that being said, the end result, if I were to assume that the people at the DOJ were smart, at least smart enough, if they can think beyond the first order, then they'd probably say, hey, what happens after we do that? Yeah. To which the response is, well, if you put out video footage that's missing a minute, showing two people coming, one person coming and one person going, no one signs the document, you will make the conspiracy substantially crazier. Because now people are wondering, what the heck was the point of this?
All this does is just give me more questions that I want answered, honestly.
It feels like there was a, like there was a fight behind the scenes, having nobody owning it, nobody signing it, nobody's holding a press conference about it. That means there was like some kind of, they couldn't come to an agreement. They just had to get past it.
It's a hot potato. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to hold it.
Right.
But wait, there's more. First, let me highlight this. Bondi says Epstein client list sitting on my desk right now and is reviewing JFK and MLK files. Okay. So we have this. Fox News's, Peter Doocy, asked about this, and Carolyn Levitt clarified she didn't mean the client list. She meant all of the documents. And, okay, I'm going to give him that one. Basically, she was asked on Fox News about the client list, and she goes, it's all on my desk. It's sitting on my desk right now. So the media reported that what did she say? It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. So she was saying it in reference to the client list. But the argument now is, no, I meant all of the Epstein stuff. Okay, fine. Check this out. ABC News published this on July 1st. Mystery surrounds the Jeffrey Epstein files after Bondi claims tens of thousands of videos. They go to mention the comments made to reporters at the White House days after a similar remark to a stranger with a hidden camera raised the stakes for President Trump. Yet weeks after Bondi's remarks, it remains unclear what she was referring to. The AP spoke with people involved as lawyers or law enforcement officials examining the cases. And a socialite, Ghislaine Maxwell, who said they hadn't seen or didn't know of a trove of recordings like what Bondi described. Indictments and detention memos do not reference extensive videos of Epstein with children and blah, blah, blah. Why did ABC and the Associated Press run a story outside of the news cycle with no predicate incident? Let me clarify this. Sometimes opinion websites looking for content and board will pick up a social or cultural issue and then run it even if it's old. It is uncharacteristic of ABC News and the AP to do this, as they are not supposed to be, especially the AP opinion websites. So why did the AP decide abruptly to just write a story claiming, that's strange, Pamela Bondi is wrong, there are no videos or any evidence, 1 week before this strange unnamed memo and weird video get dropped? I call this a fluffer story. I view it largely as, having worked in newsrooms, it's primer for a future event. It makes no sense. Look, man, tell me they'll call me crazy. They have to. But I've been in editorial meetings for numerous companies, various media outlets, as friends and as employees. And the meetings always start with, what's the story? What's going on? It does not start with, hey, is there anything that we can write about that's not in the news cycle where we'll have unnamed anonymous sources make claims about a political issue that we can't back up? So why did ABC write this 1 week ago?
No, I mean, look, none of this makes any sense to me.
Yep.
Not at all.
So then my next thought is, okay, well, if the DOJ is smart, is this the desired outcome? Did they want people like me and others to be saying this? One of the conspiracies is that they brought all of these conservative influencers to the White House, gave them all these binders that they all held up and smiled. They were brought outside in front of the press, and now they're all being discredited, saying, you latched onto this narrative, you were wrong, it was a lie. To be fair, at the same time, I don't really believe that, by the way, but Cash and Dan are being largely discredited as well as Pam Bondi. So I have no idea what this is or what's really going on. I think the best estimate is, I think Cernovich was saying this. What do you think they were doing the past several years? The reason there's no evidence is not that Pam and Cash and Dan are covering it up. It's that The Democrats covered it up a long time ago.
I mean,
There's
that's
no evidence left for them to get to,
Exactly.
so they just bided their time.
I have no idea.
I mean, there's the popular narratives, which are, Trump is from the Democrats at least. Trump is implicated. So Donald Trump said to Cash and to Dan Bongino and AG Bondi to make it go away. It won't come out because Donald Trump is in there. There's the idea that it was all the information was actually scrubbed a long time ago. Because this is, what he died in. He died in what, 22? Was it? I think something like that. 21
or 22.
Yeah, something like that. And the previous administration got rid of all of the information. But neither of those are particularly satisfying, and I don't know that there's any evidence to validate either of those stories. There's circumstantial evidence, but there's nothing solid. So, I mean, I have no idea.
Would it have even been in the previous administration's best interest to scrub that evidence? Like, wouldn't...
Well, the other conspiracy theory is that in 2020, there was a plot to steal the election from Trump because they wanted to go in and clean all this up. I don't know that we can just talk about the 2020 election and say there was a lot of weird things about it. Now, Cash has released information that there was a Chinese plot to produce fake mail-in ballots. We don't know where that's going. The DOJ at the time covered that up, saying that, I should cover it up. They refused to investigate the lead. So there are questions about what really happened in terms of foreign influence. Maybe we'll never know. Certainly some people think weird and crazy things. I think ballot harvesting and changing the rules through judges and governors was how it was largely pulled off. But the argument would be that Democrats got in by any means necessary, even if it was going to be Joe Biden, because they wanted to go into the DOJ and go in the FBI offices and get rid of any incriminating evidence.
Yeah, but there's an awful lot of reasons why the Democrats want to win that election. Other than,
of course,
covering your tracks is covering up your tracks is just fine, but
opening the borders for 4 years and flooding in 10 million people,
reconstructing America, reconstructing the world. I mean, they've got a pretty big agenda. They think in their minds the reason they're covering up for themselves is because they're going to save the world.
Yeah. See,
yeah.
That's they really do.
In the way that the emperor was trying to save the galaxy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have this before we wrap up that I want to highlight this tweet from Cernovich from 2019. Jeff Epstein's butler kept a detailed log of Epstein's crimes. Epstein's butler tried selling this information, which the FBI admitted was damning. Prosecutors gave Epstein a free pass, however, and indicted the butler for trying to sell the information. How about them apples? You know what, man? I'm starting to see a lot of people say things like, you know what? I don't care about the Epstein story. We lost. They destroyed the evidence a long time ago. Let's focus on Trump's agenda and what we can do. I half agree with that. Half. I understand. The reality is, powerful forces in government probably destroyed this evidence a long time ago. 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And we're chasing our tails and wasting time with that being reality. That being said, I think they're handling this miserably, and there is a way to deal with it if that is the case. And that is, from the get-go, they should have said, it is not so simple as to just release this. Sorry, we're still investigating. And look into anyone who may have destroyed evidence. Pam Bondi put out that letter saying the FBI was withholding evidence from her.
Yeah.
They should have said, this is going deep and it's getting weird, and if we want to get these prosecutions, we need to investigate properly. But if that's not the case, then this whole thing just...
I mean, it stinks.
Poorly done.
It stinks, but, from the position of someone that's, watching from the sidelines, there's not a whole lot we can do except for just be like, like, what the hell,
Which it's my understanding that that's what they've been doing this entire time anyway, since this administration started, was just kind of holding off, like, we don't have it yet. We're looking, we don't have it yet. Why now? Like, why all of a sudden, okay, you know what? We're just going to out this with what we've got, even if it
with
doesn't
no name on it,
really sell the marker, and no one's going to sign it.
Yeah.
Like,
it came from no one.
What does that do for you or anyone else, or the American people for that matter?
Possibly. in a few months, they'll try running the narrative that Epstein? Oh, the DOJ put out the thing saying that was all hubbub. What do you mean? Don't you remember that? And the videos? They proved
the video? Yeah.
And then we will be like, no, that's not correct. But the average person will only passively absorb the information and they'll go, didn't like Trump come out and say that he's committed suicide or something? And you'll be like, no, I heard it was like Trump said it. Shrug.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's going to be a whole lot of like people just being like, palms up, this doesn't make any sense. Obviously, there are people that are really upset. There are people that are saying that this, they regret their vote, which I think is way overboard. I mean, just we're going to go on to stories about ICE raids and about the positives of immigration reform and stuff like that in a few minutes, and that alone, in my opinion, was reason enough to vote for Trump.
Let me ask you, Yoram. Here's what I think happened with the Epstein list. I think Epstein did this. I think Epstein was blackmailing powerful people. I think many of these people were probably princes, politicians, prime ministers. Prince Andrew, of course, was already implicated. He's apparently, that's it. That's the Epstein client list. 1, Prince Andrew. 2, nobody else. I think he did it. And I think the reason the U.S., even under Trump, will not release it is that there's going to be powerful CEOs. When they get outed, their companies will start collapsing. The stock value will drop. There's going to be alliances and foreign leaders, and it's going to cause political tumult in a bunch of different countries. I think that the U.S. government, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino Cash, they get in there, they see the evidence, and they went, how many companies will this destroy? And they're like, a couple dozen. Right? When the CEOs are outed as being on this island with this guy, their stock is going to cut in half. What about foreign world leaders? There's a lot of them too. It could dissolve, it could destroy international trade lines and throw the world into chaos. We're talking about the world's most powerful elites. And so then the powers that be within the government, even the ones we like, are going, we have no choice but to just shut this down. Do you see that as making sense? Or am I crazy to think that's the greater probability of what happened?
No, I think it makes some sense. I think, look, there's a lot of people. I personally, there's plenty of people who are on that island. They're dirtbags. I would love to see, the Clintons or Ehud Barak. I mean, there's plenty of people. No, seriously, I would love to see them get in trouble.
So was Barak on the island?
I think he was on the island. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
The Israeli press is always running like pictures of him like visiting Epstein in Manhattan. I don't actually know if he was on there.
Trump flew on the plane. Elon said Trump was on the list.
Yeah.
Now the list is getting covered up.
Yeah. Look, if you're Donald Trump right now, okay. I mean, I think the argument you're making it makes some sense, but it also makes sense to look at it from a different direction. Trump he has this taste for pictures. With him getting photographed with a whole lot of little girls, women like around him. He likes to be a protector. He says, "I'm going to protect women whether they want it or not." He thinks it's important as a man, as president, as the leader of the world. He thinks it's important for him to be like moving towards peace, moving towards justice. And I can easily see, in addition to like the economic mess you're talking about, if it's not possible to get indictments, if it's not possible to have a serious debate about all these different kinds of world figures without bringing in, who knows, hundreds of then underage girls, you can just, I don't know, you can see him saying, this is all dirt. It's going to consume the next 2 years. Yeah. There's no way to get to the end of it, and my agenda's gone. Like he's old enough. He remembers the way that Ollie North, and the Iran-Contra affair, right? Two years of Reagan's presidency down the drain, and you never got to the bottom of it. And he could just be thinking, well, what do I get out of this? What does America get out of this?
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.